So you've lost your job, you're looking for another job, maybe you started your own company. Either way, you are looking for work or clients. And to do that, you have to let people know you're out there. And that makes you a marketer. You are now marketing yourself. So if you don't know much about marketing, Shahid Juma here is going to tell us all about it. He works for a company that specializes in internet and social media marketing. Shahid, thank you so much for joining us. What do people need to know now that they are marketing themselves, particularly in the free avenues of social media?
Well, thanks for having us. Thanks for having me on. It's really great what you're doing. As just mentioned, free social media. What's free out there is LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and all these other channels that are out there. But LinkedIn is primarily the one that I'm going to focus on, is because that's that's where you're going to be connecting with potential employers and people in your space. So get on LinkedIn. If you already have a LinkedIn account, make sure you go and update your profile picture, which is tip number one. Make sure you have a good profile picture on there. That's something that stands out and resonates who you are. And the other thing is on LinkedIn, make sure your title that you currently have, what you're good at or what you're doing, put something that actually represents what you want to do or what you're offering to your potential employers or clients. So don't say you're an accountant. Don't say you're in marketing. Be a little bit more clear. Say, I bring results, I do this, and it can be like a whole sentence. Doesn't really matter. And then finally, the other tip that I want to mention is more as well too, but this one is that it's in regards to the photo that's above your profile, which is a cover photo, free advertising space that LinkedIn provides. So use that and put a photo picture that resonate with something appropriate, matches what you're doing, and you can put a headline in there as well too.
So let's talk about those three things. Those are all really great things. And LinkedIn is definitely where it's all happening now. They really have made a great platform for everyone. The profile picture, really important. I am reluctant to accept invitations from people who don't have one, but you don't have to spend a lot of money either. I took my wife's picture with my iPhone, and the things that I've always been told are smiles work better than anything else. And make sure it's a nicely framed headshot with a neutral background, like a cream background, something like that. Are those the sorts of things that you recommend for the profile picture?
Yeah, 100%, absolutely. Make sure it's appropriate as well too. Something that makes you look good as well.
Let's talk about the writing below your name. You said don't just put what you do, but try to find ways to indicate the value you add and quantify it in any way. What are some examples of how you can do that?
Yeah, so a good example, like for example, you instead of saying I'm a marketing specialist, you can say, well, I'm a marketing specialist that brings you results in 21 days. Now that is quantifying. In 21 days, you can get me results because I'm curious now. So I may contact you, right? And you can actually put a bit more sentences in there. So okay, I help by doing this, through this, right? So you can make it even longer, but essentially quantify what you're doing under that profile picture. So it makes it more, it stands out at the end of the day instead of just a title, marketing specialist. Well, there are tons of marketing specialists. What makes you stand out compared to others?
I may have to go change mine right after this. Let's talk about that cover photo. Two things. There's a photo, but you also said you can put some writing on it. Let's first talk about the photo. What is an appropriate photo for that space?
I think the most appropriate photo is put something that is similar to what you're doing. So don't put your vacation picture on there. This is not Facebook profile. Like make sure you put something that's appropriate to what you're doing. So if you're in like if I saw your photo, I think you're in television. So maybe you had a television, something related to that, something that stands out. Do that as well too. So or you can put a generic photo in there or something that's just a nice pattern background, but has some headline in there that kind of repeats what you said under your profile, but a little bit more elaborative or maybe more condensed, like a tagline.
Right. And the writing up there, again, it's, as you said, it's the free advertising. You get to say something about yourself in there.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. As far as interacting and being involved in social media, what should people be doing?
So LinkedIn is not just about connecting with people, and you want to connect with people that are in your space. But remember, it's not all about just because I'm looking to work in this company and this company has a marketing specialist, so I'm just going to look for marketing specialists. Connect with people with different areas and different fields as well, because everybody will be able to connect with somebody else that may be what you're looking for. So connect with people. Make sure you look at their profile. Make sure you comment on their profile, because that increases your own profile views as well. Because remember, if I comment on you, now all of a sudden I'm on your thread now of comments. So people will see who I am and potentially might click on my profile. If I visit your profile, I get a notification saying, Craig has visited my profile. Now I'll see who's Craig, and now all of a sudden I may contact you. So the thing is, make sure you connect. The other thing is also when you're connecting with somebody, let's say you work for an employer, and you're looking to connect to work with that company. Find somebody that works in that company and connect with them. Get an engagement with them, and then now once you have an engagement with them, contact them and go through them. Referrals are always the best way to get a job instead of going directly, or you can go directly as well. But when you go through a referral from within the company itself, that helps even more.
And a great way to connect is to ask questions. People love to talk about themselves. Everybody likes to be the expert. So, if you want to send a note, ask a question about the company. It's a much healthier, easier, maybe sneakier way to market yourself is to show an interest rather than try to force them to be interested in you.
Absolutely, 100% for sure. Yeah, you have to do that, and that's what creates a conversation as well too.
And when people visit your site, you go visit theirs. That's a great opportunity. Obviously, you're both curious in each other. That's a great way to just make a connection.
100% for sure. And the other thing I want to mention as well is that when you're making a connection and somebody does respond to you, one of the things that I found out is that when it comes to connecting with people is that just don't say, okay, when are you free to talk? Take the first initiative and say, I'm free on this particular day. Here's my calendar. Set up a calendar and take the first step. Shows you're taking initiative as well. Goes for both ways. You're looking for a job, looking for clients as well too.
There's an app called website called Calendly where you can set up your calendar and people can make appointments with you then. And you can set up buffers. You can limit the amount of time. It doesn't mean anybody can book a time with you any time of day or night. You have control over that. When you talk about posting content, what kind of content can people post?
So content when you're posting, it could be something. So for example, I'll use the example of in my space. I'm in the IT space, my company. So what we'll do is we'll post stuff that's related to our company, related to the IT space. So it could be something like, for example, iPhone tips. It's not really what we're not selling iPhones, but we do app development. So now I'll post something about iPhones, and that's just something that will be value of who's on my feed. Those are the kind of content that you want to put. If you're in marketing, put some marketing tips on there. I've seen a lot of people, for example, post kind of a schedule. Okay, this is the kind of schedule you want to post when you do a typical schedule of posting. So you're giving tips to others. So if you're a marketing specialist, for example, then give tips, give. I think that's the whole thing. When you give, then actually you will actually receive back what you want to get. So the more you give, it makes you the content expert and gives you the authority as well and gives you more confidence as well.
Yeah, the things that I post, I have 2 online interview shows because I'm working storytelling and I work with small businesses too. I have 2 interview shows. One is the Business Heroes where I talk about business stories. The other is Narrative Drive Time where I talk to storytellers. I also publish a blog, and that gives me 3 things that I can put out that are content that people can consume and learn things from, and also puts me in an area in which I want to be seen as an authority. So
Absolutely.
Those are things I did, but not everybody. I'm a television producer and writer, so I did what I do. Not everybody has those skills. Often people can just share articles that they find interesting that's in their industry, or even what they find personally industry to establish their identity. What do you think of those ideas?
That's true. That's 100% true because it's hard to get content. Even if you have ideas, it's hard to put it down into some sort of a thought process. And so, finding articles or content that's already available, put them in. But then post a question, engage others. Hey, what do you think? Take something out of that article, say, I found this really interesting. And then whoever is reading the article, read the article, and maybe they'll post on your comments. The more engagement you have in your feed, that's how your profile views also increases. So put an article that is actually interesting. Also find articles that are not too long because people don't like to read, or even video feeds. You can put video feeds as well too. As that way will also get you to rank up as well too.
And how often should people post?
So that's kind of depends on yourself. But I like to say that you should post at least 3 times a week. I've seen people post pretty much every day. Sometimes people post 2 times a day. I personally like the 3 times a week thing. It's sort of in the middle, right? But you can tend to do at least you can do it pretty much every day a post, but stick to 3 at least in the minimum.
And one thing to remember, and I've seen someone post a question about this: should you be posting politics and deeply personal things on LinkedIn? I mean, really, that's up to you. But those things are going to identify you. My rule of thumb is I post things that are generally business things. I do, if they involve a point of view, that seems to be okay. You're certainly identifying who you want to associate with. And I do post some personal things as long as they're not going to be offensive or off-putting.
Yeah, exactly. I think you put it perfect. I think what you got to do is look at yourself, what you feel strongly most value about, and that's something that doesn't set you apart. And even if somebody were to find that data about yourself, you're okay with that, right? But at the same time, be respectful as well. It's a public platform. There's always going to be different views and opinions that are on there. So be respectful of what you post as well, especially when it comes to personal stuff and politics.
Yeah, I mean, it's not Twitter and it's not Facebook. So, my own personal tip, when I teach interviewing and things like that, if you find someone who puts something on there or responds to you in a way that you don't agree with or even don't like, instead of going on a Twitter torch rage, ask them a question. Look for clarity, look for common ground. That's the stuff that makes you look good.
Yeah, anchors a conversation, right? That's the whole thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Is there anything else you think people need to know before they go out there and start marketing themselves?
Yeah, one final tip. You know what? I know people don't like it, and people shy away with it. I know I did as well too. Make videos of yourself. Video content is also quite good. Actually, it brings you the higher higher profile rating on your profile as well too. The more video content that you put of yourself on there, and don't post a YouTube link and upload on YouTube and bring it to LinkedIn. LinkedIn has its own platforms. Upload the video on LinkedIn itself. That creates a higher, traction on your post. So post video content that you're good at and present it. That will bring as well value to what you're offering.
Yeah, and if you want to know about making videos, feel free to send me a note because everybody should try it, but there are ways to do it right and do it wrong, and most people aren't doing it well. Shahid, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate your expertise. I think this is going to help a lot of people. There are full courses you can take on what to do on LinkedIn, but I think we've hit some really big points here that are going to help a lot of people get started.
Sounds good. No, thank you. And this is a great project. And hopefully this does help others and take advantage of what you can that's already available for free.
Yes, and thanks so much for your knowledge.
Thank you.